my soul is tormented by a succubus. Call assist, pencil dripping from the way I spit. Fell in love with this, sis got music, now she in my grips. Wanna take a sip of her only sign says sips.
What's up, everybody? It is your boy, it's Senpai. I came back with my crew because we had to talk about some shit because we've been going for a while. Alright, I got the main man, the dope dealer, the slanger of cards. I got Tiz Skills. Say what up, Tiz.
What's up?
Alright, next I got the man with the fucking plan. I got fucking Zay. Sorry, you don't get anything super cool today.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Alright, next, and last but certainly not least, the goddamn fourth musketeer, that one dude that nobody really knows, but everybody knows him, fucking AKA Black Dr. Wily. I got fucking Card Fight King in here. Say what's up, CFK.
Hey, what's good, YouTube? Aqua Life, baby. You already know how it is.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about, because we haven't had a chance to do it yet, due to some personal reasons, so we're going to talk about just the last couple of Aquaforce reveals that we had. So Glory Maelstrom, we're going to talk about some Wheel Assault. We're going to talk about the impact of EV08 as a whole on the meta, and then just random other things. So let's go ahead and get into it. Guys, thoughts on Wheel Assault?
Achoo!
Are you serious?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Dude.
Alright, who wants to start off with Wheel Assault?
Alright. Wheel Assault.
Done.
Wheel Assault, hands down, is the best card in the clan, period. And that we got in this set for premium and standard, just its applications and things you can do with it. The fact that it's probably our most optimal ride target.
Agreed.
The fact that it boosted the Valios builds in premium by being free on top of, the same ride target clause. It cheats in grade 3s such as Riptide, which is disgusting. It like the impact it has for the clan is just insane. Like it brought our early game, which is already kind of strong, but like a lot of times you're like, I don't know if I want to commit to like have wheel commit.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that because it's like it can do a lot of dumb stuff now that some people still haven't even like thought of, and like just. He helps us dig. He helps us dig into our deck. Like I said in the card review that I did for Wheel Assault, he helps us dig into our deck. He helps us filter and get more cards out of our hand. And by getting cards out of our hand, we can call things like, like Riptide Dragon or Diamantes if you're running them. Rip more cards out of your opponent's hand ultimately, or just make them take damage.
The other thing you can look at too is, so people commonly say Romario is a really bad card because you could just ride pass, and that was the same thing with like Circle Magus. They're like, oh, play around Circle Magus, just ride pass, no big deal. But that actually helps us out a lot.
I think Wheel Assault opens up a lot more combos to the deck. It definitely, if you're having one of those really bad games where you're not seeing any of your restanders, you can make a funky looking column, but that column is going to end up being a multi-attack where everybody's going to get a piece of the pie and gets to get in. So I really think Wheel Assault has opened up a lot of different plays that the deck can now do, and I feel like he's a card where you can place him not only behind the Vanguard, but even on the rear guard circle behind something else. He's very versatile on where you can place him, and it just depends on how you set up your board and your attack patterns and using his ability. But yeah, I can agree. He's probably the best card we got out of this set, utility-wise.
Yeah, so it's like, I think unanimously, us and if you don't live underneath a rock or you have a pulse, you think Wheel Assault's definitely good. If you think otherwise, and please feel free put it in the comments below. I want to hear your reasoning why you think Wheel Assault's bad.
People are gonna still touch on the fact that the Japanese build. I don't know if it topped the whatever what top. I feel like it was the locals, whatever it is.
No, it was
had
the
like
VGCS.
they like okay, oof, whatever. Had 2 Wheel Assaults, whatever that is, and like 4 Riptide. I'm sitting here like, they had to open up with some really good hands because the lack of Wheel Assault really, to me, that deck did not look consistent at all, and I feel like Wheel Assault is an instant four of. It gives us a total of like 8 ride targets, for turn one ride. It's just too good, and I can't see him at less than 4 ever.
Now, when you say like 8 ride targets, like ideal 8 ride targets, are you talking about premium? Or are you talking about standard?
I'm talking about, well, and for me anyways, I was talking about standard. Just being able to ride either him or Nicholas. Um, you're either going to get a search, a search and a potential plus, or you're going to get a plus the next turn and some early aggression.
Okay, yeah, I could see that because it's like well, for me, because I've been playing, like I'm literally almost getting ready to say just screw standard, um,
Hmm.
but like in my builds that I've been testing, like I've almost taken out Nikolaz. I put Nikolaz down to like 2 in some of my builds, but Nikolaz still is a great ride. Like don't get that twisted in any way, shape, or form. Um,
Hmm.
like no matter what you do, kind of plus because you get the power. Period. But
Hmm.
getting the algos is just like that frosting on the cake or that nice little sprinkle. You get you some sprinkles on your goddamn cupcake. You ever had a cupcake, chocolate cupcake with some sprinkles on it? That's what Nikolaz is when he gets that algos. Cause like this is already good. Algos getting algos just makes it better, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, even though I do see where people have, you can cut Nico to maybe 3 copies or whatever it is, but I feel like Wheel Assault is basically another multi attacker. He creates a multi attack
Oh yeah.
in the deck. And so when I look at him as the most valuable grade one. We now have 4-8. We have 12 multi attackers now. Wheel Assault, Title, and Algos. So
Uh,
I just feel like it's, well, I consider him like a multi attacker. So I really think that it's impaired him. But Nico, I like Nico, but I don't think he's as important as Wheel Assault is to the deck.
no, I
I
completely agree.
I kind of disagree actually. I think he is important because he sets up your best possible turn two play, which
Oh,
means
he does.
you want a hand where you open Wheel Salt and Nico in the same hand to hopefully search out the early algos to make sure you enable your best ride targets. Like you want to hit
Hmm.
your best ride targets going up, right?
Yeah.
If you open a hand of say, I mean this is extremely situational, but if you open up a hand of double wheel Nico title and then you draw into Riptide or like any of these combo pieces, like if you get 2 counterblasts, you are very much in the realm of possibly just killing your opponent on turn two.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
And
And
most people are gonna rush you on turn one because they're like, oh ha ha, it's Aqua Force, whatever, and then we rip out the big old aqua fucking fat dick and just plop it on the table and just like, all right, here's your 6 damage.
we create a dynamic where you now have to think about committing an extra card from your hand because you don't want to crit us on your
Yeah,
first attack.
yeah. And I mean, this also goes in conjunction with the fact that, we can drop Coral Assault on the board, and, it can seem like we depleted our hand by trying to rush you down, but it's like, well, Coral's going to be able to hit you for 24K, and, if I end up using multiple Corals, and it's like, cool, they'll go into the soul, I'll draw 2 cards, and then I'll be right back ready to come at you turn 3.
Not to mention if you're running Vivianas too, like Coral Viviana on that turn two, plus the
Oh,
draw
Yes,
from wheel, like you're just your hand stinks so big. Like you committed a board for virtually nothing.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing now is Aquaforce was always getting laughed at. Oh, you don't have power lines. You don't have power lines, and especially the grade two turn. Like now with Wheel Assault, calling out a Riptide, having Coral Assault, you now hit pretty decent numbers, and you can kind of punish Force a little bit, and
Dude,
it's always
Ni-
nice.
Nico boosting Algos is a 20k column from your Vanguard.
mm.
Like that's
Oof,
disgusting.
oof.
It's a thing of beauty.
Like Like our grade 2 turn can be like dummy thick, and like the weakest swings in that turn, if you're not running penguins, which I feel you shouldn't be going forward, but if you're not running penguins, is going to be the 9K restanding titles, who's basically just there to make sure you hit your fourth battle, you get your rested units for your corals, hit your fourth for your riptides, so you're able to really game your multi attacks in the early game, especially because like in this scenario, you absolutely need the title to enable this. Like having two algos is going to be detrimental because the only way you resolve this is with three counterblasts. Because riding the wheel, the algos restand, algos on rearguard restand. So like you absolutely need the title in this scenario. And even then, to further compact on this, so what I was talking about before with the double wheel play, so you swing title, and then you swing boosted with wheel the second time, and you swap something like a coral, whatever, into the front row. It doesn't matter with the title assault. You put them behind the riptide, and then uh, you swing with that unit. You swing with riptide. You swing with your algos. You restand riptide. You swing with riptide again, and this is all on turn two. And this play only costs two counterblasts, but you need the combo pieces. So like yeah, it sounds like magical Christmas lands, but I've gotten like 2 to 3 variations of this combo multiple times against most of the people on this channel, so like they can attest it. It happens.
Yeah, first time it happened to me, I was like, no, stop.
Dude,
Yeah,
CFK
I mean-
watched me put Black Eye Steve to 5 on grade 2.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely just do title attack, title stands, riptide attack, attack with algos, stand riptide.
You can't. You
Riptide
can't
has
do.
to be 4th.
Yeah.
Can't attack unless it's 4th, but there's ways around it. Like sometimes you get multiple restands with the Carls instead, and like Carl's no slouch either. Like he's still very good.
And it's like it's like when I first saw the first triple rare for Aquaforce out of EVO8, I was like, oh man, Coral Assault's so good. There's gonna be nothing else that we get that's gonna be on this level of like amazing. And then Bushiroad's like, all right, here's Wheel Assault, and you can begin to jizz your pants for the remainder of the set releases and here on after. Because like Wheel Assault, like it's pretty much giving us free restands. So like if for some reason we don't have titles, but we have an Algos, we have two Corals, and for some reason we got a Riptide on the board just from Wheel Assault before, and we have a Real Assault boosting. Swing with Coral, swing with Algos, or yeah, swing with Coral, swing with Algos. Nah, swing with Coral, swing with Algos, restand something, you switch them, and then just keep going and keep going. Like if for some reason you are playing the Penguin and you rested it behind the Riptide, you can stand that, so that way Riptide's swinging for like 37, I think. Yeah, it would be swinging for 37 when it finally does get the swing. That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Another thing like to note that we haven't touched on yet is wheel in conjunction with glory, which kind of will tie into that too. Is so wheel in a glory turn on top of like being a like functioning as a pseudo restander, like giving you an extra attack that you didn't have. It's also very good for abusing multiple attacks on Excel circles. So like on the glory turn, you then get like maximum value from being able to swing out like a bunch of stuff on Excel circles that you wouldn't normally have been able to because you already committed units to them. Usually like finishing with like double title on Excel before or after you swing with glory, depending on like your attack order. But like that's really key, especially when you factor in the fact that glory should be playing 8 front. So that extra 10k power, which you should be going for. You should be going for Excel 1 if your hand isn't bad, or if the matchup doesn't dictate you need to be constantly keeping your hand replenished. You should be going for the extra power because that turns those title assaults into 29Ks before triggers, 39K after 1 front, potentially even bigger. So they're restanding. If you hit 1 front on that turn, title assault on a Excel circle is restanding for 34, which still is technically beyond 1 card guard.
Yeah.
And this is something like you gotta plan for. Like people are saying that restanders aren't as good on glory because like they think you go big, but the problem is like you try to go big. Every protect clan can guard like 4 to 5 big attacks, or at least let enough through to where they survive. Like look at OTT, look at Angel Heathers. Those are decks that are going to generate multiple PGs, draw multiple cards. They're going to be able to guard most of your power lines, even if they're PG or die. You know, and Grand Blue, playing against Grand Blue, literally every Grand Blue player I played against will just be cycling triggers and PGs to make sure they can survive my glory turn. They aren't even paying attention to any of the game I'm playing up until then. They're literally just like, I'm going to survive his glory turn, and that's how they play. So like if you're committing to just like a couple big power lines and going for like the 4 to 5 big unguardable swings, like these decks can guard them. And yeah, BT may be, you know, the crown jewel, the creme de la creme, the best deck still. But the thing is you're not only playing BT. You're going to be playing everything that's trying to beat BT, and you need to also still be able to beat those while not uh, sacrificing what is good into the BT matchup. And I feel like to run the big beats Aqua lists that you see topping in Japan, like yeah, they're topping, and they're probably going to continue to top and look like that because that is now going to be the blueprint for Japan going forward. But they're stuck in a mindset where they have to excel to every game, and that is not the case. And that's why they feel like restanders aren't good because they're always taking Excel 2. They're never even considering Excel 1 as an option.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I can
that
see the
weakens your restanders.
yeah, I can see the enticement of like why they would want to take Excel 2 because it's another card in your hand for a clan that doesn't really like before EVO 8 didn't have ways to get more cards into your hand faster outside of just adding more draw triggers. So I see that like the enticement and why they would want that, but like you said, they have to be able to recognize like when you should and when you shouldn't. Like if you G assisted and you're behind, yeah, go ahead and go Excel 2.
100% take Excel 2.
Yeah,
I definitely take Excel 2 in that scenario.
because
Like if I don't have pieces in my hand, Excel 2. If
yeah,
I'm against Kagero, Narukami, Shadows, Excel 2. Hell,
yeah,
if I even feel I'm a little bit behind Bermudas, I'll Excel 2. But if I have a good hand, if I'm ahead, if I'm against Protect or another Excel clan, barring Nova Grapplers, Excel 1 all the way. Nova Grapplers, you have to go Excel 2. You got to keep up with them, and they're going to go Excel 2.
yeah. And it's like it's stupidly annoying because it's like people look at Japan and they're like, oh, and this is a direct quote from like some people that I do talk to. Like the first weekend where I was like, hey man, hey guys, look, this is what topped. This deck isn't as bad as you thought it was, and they're like, oh man, well, what happened to Aquaforce? I guess Aquaforce is shit. I'm like, no, it's just one, people are still trying to figure the deck out over there. Two, a good portion of the people that play it probably aren't that well versed because historically they don't do too well with it over there. And
There definitely is like some premier Aquaforce players in the East by far. Like I can definitely agree that there are some Aquaforce players in the East who like are unbelievably amazing with the clan. But the vast majority play Aquaforce casually for fun. Somebody in Proof Court actually said it best. Like Japan likes to play things that are very easy and very efficient. You know, like why play Aquaforce where you have to work for your wins and like really think things through when you can easily just play Bermudas, play OTT,
Kagero,
play
Royal
Kagura,
Paladin.
play Link Joker. Yeah, like so like the people who will play Aquaforce are the people who love it because of its aesthetics and its playstyles, but they're not necessarily going to play it because it's competitive. People will only flock to competitive Aquaforce if it is undeniably the best or second best deck in the meta.
Lambros.
Ripples,
uh,
Thavas, GBT13 Thavas.
Tetra
So like
Dragon, Break Red.
if it's that level powerful, then yeah, you will see the Aquaforce tops come in droves, and you know like GBT13 is a great example. I think we didn't see a single top until or no, we saw a top the first weekend, and it's from the guy that went undefeated. We didn't see a single top the second week, and then from that week on, everybody played his exact list, and he topped again 2 more times. The same guy topped 2 more times, and that like arrow GBT13 Thavas, but he pretty much pioneered the way, and then everybody played his list. And that's going to be the thing for this list. Like it topped like two lists topped this weekend. Um, one played absolutely no
Big Beats Aquaforce.
one played no restanders whatsoever, and one played no titles, I believe. But it still played Algos's. So
I mean-
like going forward, it's going to be very normal to see Japan lists if there are more tops that are running less restanders because they value Excel 2 way higher than we will.
like I know we commonly look at Japan for deck lists and stuff like that, but like Genesis is a perfect example. During the Angel Feather meta, you had EB03 Ultra Rare and then EB04 come out, and everybody was like, Angel Feather's about death. The only deck that kind of beats it is Kumo, this and that. Genesis wipes the floor with Angel Feather. Like straight up, like deck out. Like they just play the draw game. They draw a bunch of cards, and they go Melissa, 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 and you get destroyed. And so I think that Japan, although they're typically very good, they have more tournaments than us, yada yada. Like that's not the end all be all. Like Aquaforce, when it first came out, in, EB02, it didn't really top in Japan except for a couple team tournaments and a couple locals. But like comes here to the States and we have BCS top, a guy who literally went undefeated before top 8, playing OTT, 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 Kagero, and then a couple others. Like that that says something, you know. We do know how to build decks, and Japan's just not the end all be all. Like nobody in this world knows everything.
Another indication that we are more fine than people think. Aquaforce just got top 8 in Cardiff.
Yeah.
It may be teams, but like they didn't even top with Valios. Like, to give you an example, like they didn't even top when Valios came out. We just got a top with our very first set. Like the very first tournament it came out, we got a top. So like the West just, I don't necessarily think like we're better than Japan or they're necessarily better than us. I think that there's certain things they do better when it comes to deck building innovation. There's certain things we do better. Like nobody can deny Living Proof's spike knowledge and argue that he isn't arguably probably like one of the best spike players hands down, period.
So Spike
And
guy.
like his innovation is incredible, you know? And like Japan also around the same time thought of the Hellheart 8 list, but like he continually refines it, innovates it, and brings it to that next level. And I feel like for a lot of decks over a large period of time this has happened. Like when you think about Time Leap, like it was the West that innovated the triple delay blazer combo. Like we evolved on top of what was already happening, and like even Ange with the Riviere and what's her name to cheat and get first stride. Like that was something the West innovated. So like yes, while I do think it is very healthy to look to Japan's meta to get an idea for what will be good, it is not a blueprint for what is only good because differing playstyles, differing values. We like the West loves combo heavy decks. Japan, like outside of Wiseman and at the time Enigmatic Rush, like they mostly just played like really standard stuff. No, and that's just something to take into account.
Yeah, and that's like something that I preach heavily, like to people that outside of you guys, that especially with like new players, they're like, oh well, what tops? I'm like, well, what do you want to play? Like if you have a strong knowledge base, you're gonna beat out 90% of the people that are gonna play. You have a strong knowledge base of what you're playing and how your deck is built, and what plays you need to make in what situations. You'll do fine. You'll beat out 90. Like I said, around 90% of the people. It's like my friends did not think when I won with Blue Waves at ARG that I would win with Blue Waves, but because I had a deep knowledge with Aquaforce and what I should be doing against what matchups, I ended up winning the entire thing. And like people don't take that into consideration. They're just like, oh, this is meta. This is gonna win, and it's not that way. No, in no way, shape, or form. Like if it was that way, then Spikes wouldn't have won ARG Nats last year.
Against the arguably undeniably best deck in the format.
Yeah.
And probably the best player in the West.
Exactly, and it's like people need to just, you can stay on Japan's dick, just inch off of it a little bit. That's that's for the most part all I gotta say is just about that anyway, because like
I just think people just take Japan stuff as gospel, and there's a lot of other players out there. There's a lot of other people who top, and their decks just differ because at the end of the day, card games are all about how you play the deck and how the deck and you kind of just meld. Like, for a while there, the way I was playing, you know, GBT 13 Thavis was I was running the Jellyfish shoulder soldier because I wanted the counter charge. And some people are like, "Why are you even running that card? That card's stupid." And then when they tried to damage die me, or I didn't have damage, and I call this, and I unflip 2 damage, and they were like, "Well, damn, I'm dead." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's my tech because that's the way I wanted to play my deck. What works for you doesn't necessarily need to work for the rest of the world."
You know what logic I usually go with? I usually go with, at least in Vanguard or any card game, the best player in the world is really not the best player in the world. The best, in Japan, yes, Japan should not be. I've never believed Japan should be a window to look at for how the meta is going to shape up. But since majority of people do, it's kind of what they tend to go with. But when I mean the best player in the world is not the best one, there are people who get clapped up in their own local area. They can't make it out their local area, but they end up traveling to a Chicago or Canadian region or whatever it is, end up winning the regional
Yo, no,
somehow, some
nobody
way.
travels the Canadian regional and wins the regional. Get out of here. Canadians always win Canadian regional. Get that
I'm
bullshit
just
out of
using
here.
it as an example. If
Canadians
that
always
were
win the
to
Canadian regionals. No, we travel to your regionals to win your regionals.
if that were to happen. Well, actually, Brandon Smith traveled to your regionals and won, but I digress.
Ooh.
When?
Anyway,
When? What year?
wasn't it 2012?
Talking
He
about the
was a world
first year.
champion in 2012.
Yeah, maybe.
Canada's
Yeah,
easy. That's why we don't go there.
Oh,
yeah.
we
But
take all
the
your
point,
top spots.
but the point is that you get, you think I mean, if you end up winning world championships and you come back home and it's like, oh yeah, you're the world champion. Oh, great, great, great. Come get clapped up at locals. Come get clapped up at this big tournament that's in our area. And it's like, I
Like
mean, you
it,
can have.
I hear this a lot of times. So I went to team tournaments, and I kind of went to did do my thing. I didn't really sell, and so I went with like a couple teams and a couple friends, and I know the person who got first place, and I know the people who got second place, and a lot of people were like, "Well, they didn't deserve the top," and I'm like, "Did they? Well, they were playing crappy decks, or their deck shouldn't have topped, or oh, it's team tournament, or it's best of one." Like, people need to stop with the excuses. Like, when you play like crap, you play like crap. And I understand variance is a thing, and I get it. If you get double 6 damage healed, and then somebody turns around and double fronts and beats you, I get it. That sucks. And that's variance, and it happens. But if you lose and you really went, let's just say X3, X2, there's a reason why you lost those games. You were getting greedy, or you played out a turn. And people need to just be humble about themselves and realize maybe you're just not that good. Because when you just start talking trash about other people, like that does really need to stop. Because I get
I,
that a lot.
I'm gonna touch on that in a second. But you know who Brandon Smith beat in that finals, by the way? CFK?
No, I don't. 'Cause
My
I
boy
wasn't
John
playing the
Pedro,
game then.
the dude who's arguably one of the best Canadian players in Windsor, where I'm
Really?
from. Yeah, the guy who actually taught me Vanguard. Yeah. So he did actually win Toronto in 2012, but at least since then, I believe it's always been a Canadian who's won, despite many Americans always traveling up. But back to what Tis was just saying. Um, yeah, it's always such a convenient straw man. It's like, oh, teams don't top. Oh, ARG tops don't matter. Vongolas are shit. Joke tournaments. Then it's like,
Vongolas
okay,
were amazing, by the way.
and it's like, okay, so what counts? Like bushy singles? No, they're best of ones. It's trash. Okay, so no tops matter then apparently, right? Like you can't pick and choose what tops are relevant. All tops help shape the meta, regardless if it's teams, if it's some ARG, if it's a Vongola, if it's bushy singles. Like all tops matter. You can't definitively just be like this top doesn't matter because insert flimsy excuse here. Like to an extent, they're all relevant because they all won. You know,
Mhm.
And like
whether Whether a 13-man ARG holds the same water as a 600-man regional, that's a different story. But
And for
it
those
still
saying
matters.
that, like, oh, these people top with brain dead decks and all that, I want you to play against me with Bermuda Triangle. Like, honestly, I don't play the game much, but when I do, like, I just and I'll be 100% honest with everybody in this chat is I'm not good. Like, I forget shit all the time. I can't remember what people drive checked or whatever. I play the game because it's fun, and I mean it is kind of competitive, and it's nice that I can touch just about every deck in the game. But like, play against me. Give me the best deck. Give me the most helmet broken, brain dead deck, and I bet you I'll mess it up. Like, there are people out there that go to these tournaments and do the same thing. Just because a deck you consider or is considered to be the best doesn't mean people play it the best. Period. I had a guy on the team that I went to team tournaments with play Bermuda Triangle and went X3. He lost 3 times with literally the best helmet deck in the game at the time. Explain that.
Another thing too is like, so Vanguard players want to go on and like, ignore rogue, ignore anti-meta, and only consider tier 1. Well, here's the question. How many of you actually are versed in mirror matches? Vanguard players avoid mirror matches like the plague. But you know what? If you're playing the best deck, you better be prepared to play a bunch of mirrors at the top. Can you say you're better than the top players playing the best deck? That's what matters if you're going to play the best deck. Like, these are things you have to factor in. You can't just play the best deck and never play a mirror. And like, there's a lot that goes into it. You have to know every matchup. You have to know your outs in every matchup. You need to know your win conditions. So like, just picking up a deck and playing it because it's the best deck doesn't mean shit. Yeah, you may top your locals, but topping a competitive environment against very good players is a very different scenario.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, like knowing like you just touched on what I said earlier is knowing your matchups, and that definitely does include the mirror match because you need to know when your deck can take like what I call the takeoff point in the match, where it's like you're taking off, you're committing enough to where you can just run away with the game. And mostly for Aquaforce players, that's turn 2, where you can run away with the game. But guess what? If you're playing the mirror match, your opponent can do the same thing. What counterplays do you have to work around that? Like,
I love
do
Aquamirrors. Aquamirrors are so like, that's actually a really skill intensive matchup because you can't commit first, but you can't not commit. So
exactly.
you have to play very tactfully.
I mean, and this is something that I want everybody listening to this, and I want everybody who does play Vanguard because I do very much care about this community a lot. Humble yourself. Think about the things that you could have done wrong. Don't always point to triggers. Oh, well, he hit 2 crits, or he crit me the whole game, or he hit 2 heals, or he hit 5 draws. Like, try and take as much variance out of the game as possible and reflect on your games. Maybe you went into Glory Maelstrom too fast. Maybe you went into Cannon too fast. Maybe you tried to speed up the deck when you could have taken another turn to ride one more time and then finish them off. Like, humble yourself.
You actually
And,
touched on something that's really important there. Riding glory too fast. That is something that's very critical. I see so many people, like one counterblast, no real turn, just slap the Maelstrom on, the glory Maelstrom over the OG, because the mindset of Aqua players still is glory is the crutch of this deck, and OG isn't a good card. They're just running OG because glory needs Maelstrom. OG is not a bad card. We've been harping on this for a year now. It's ridiculous that people still don't understand this. OG Maelstrom was a good card with very limited tools to use, so it struggled a bit, but it was not. It was never a bad card, despite what people say. Now with stuff like Helpless, even in current standard right now, the deck is actually very under the radar good. Like, people need to learn how to play on OG Maelstrom. If you're being CB denied, do not ride Glory. You're literally doing nothing. You're riding a card that actually does nothing over a card that costs nothing. Like, you got to learn how to play to your outs. If you're being CB denied with new aquas because they don't want you to glory, they don't want you to combo out with the only other cards CB in your deck, which is Algos. So you just stay on your OG Maelstrom and you learn how to threaten to restand him with minimal investment, and that is what you do.
Yeah, and I completely agree because no CB, and if most people are taking Penguin out of their deck,
which you should be.
Well, I still keep him in it as a 2 of, just because.
You
You know.
definitely should, because there's only one instance in which he's good, which is this exact scenario we're talking about. But
Yeah,
if you're a good player, you play around that anyway. If they're going to CB deny you, that means you are way ahead on damage.
yeah, for the most part, yeah, I do agree with that because they don't want you to continue to build any more advantage. But like,
But it doesn't matter
okay,
because everything's free except for Algos, Maelstrom 3K, and Glory. So, like, you shouldn't be running Penguin for one scenario that may happen, and that's with your opponent trying to deny you when your entire deck is free.
well, the other situation where it may matter is the
Don't even say it. They should be on Excel Circle, so I'm going to cut you off
no,
before
no,
you
not
finish that
not even
bullshit.
there, not even there. Way before that, turn two. That's just it. That's the only other time I found myself where maybe I might need
Yeah,
the
but that that
counterblast.
14 that 14k, uh, that only matters if like you don't get damage going into turn 3, which you shouldn't really rely on anyway if you're going first, because you don't need to use Maelstrom skill if you go first.
No, you
And
don't.
like that 14k like double title swing, double algo swing, that's that's just unnecessary. You're already probably hitting or pulling cards out of their hand anyway, and you have you have better options when you're not running that. You have Theo, you have Viviana, you have Calm Assault. If we get Dirna, you have Dirna. If we get Parthenia, you have Parthenia. Parthenia is the only reason I would run Penguin still, because then we
Parthenia.
do stand a realistic chance of being CB denied.
Yeah, Parthenia. I don't think we're ever gonna get Parthenia
Like
though.
running Penguin means you're sacrificing on so many good utility slots just to run a situational card that shouldn't come up because that's the alt. That's like the ultimate like worst case scenario.
Yeah, but this is
Is
true. But this is still why I'm just still testing.
yeah.
And like, yeah, like you said, in most situations I find myself not using it just because I'm getting around how I should and the way that, and like I said before, I'm playing mostly premium, so it's like I don't use in my premium deck. I don't use my counterblast for shit really. Like I play, uh, like I'm playing ripples, and I'm playing that variant that you showed me like a couple nights ago, where
Yeah, the
it's
title
like,
build.
yeah, where I don't have to worry about counterblast really, and it's so much better. The only real counterblast I have in there is Miltiades, uh, Wheel Assault, and Wheel Assault is very rare because for some reason I have bad luck and I can't draw it on turn one. And then
Diamantes.
in Diamantes, yeah, those are my only three counterblasts. And how often do I go into Diamantes and use its skill? Not that much. Like I
It really
use it on
depends. Like
I use
cheat
it
him
on
out
like a
early.
kill turn. I use it on a kill turn. That's it.
You could cheat him out early on grade 2 too.
Yeah, you can't. But well, I would have to get a Wheel Assault in my hand early.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like
like it, so touching on the glory though, like people need to understand when to ride glory. Glory isn't this card that you just windmill slam and you win the game, you know? Like you still have to know when is the right time to play it. When you hard commit. Because here's the other thing too. Like glory doesn't lose to a defensive. You can actually still force through a defensive very easily, especially considering you haven't even drove check yet, so you shouldn't be attacking all your attacks into a defensive. Um, and it actually has pretty far reach. I've been able to kill from 2 into a defensive trigger, mind you. So it has pretty far reach. But the thing to note is you have to know how strong your glory turn actually is. What are the chances of you actually checking a trigger, and how much does that put your turn out of reach? Back to what I said earlier about people's go tall versus go wide. Um, Against a lot of the best decks, going wide, even if they hit a defensive trigger and all your unguardable or like 10k guards become 5k guards and guardable, that still means for every attack you're at least ripping one card out of their hand. And the closer they are to 5, the more dangerous this becomes. Because even if they somehow survive your turn, if you opt to swing out them entirely, which if they're at 5 you should, if they're at 4 maybe consider killing some rear guards before you end your turn, you can leave them in a state where they're completely crippled and they actually cannot play into you. The only situations in which this is dangerous is decks that can on the clapback either just straight up kill you or destroy your entire board. So stuff like Narukami is something I'd be worried about, or Shadow Paladin, Kagura maybe if they're playing a Blade Master build. Not so much if it's Overlords, but Overlords is actually a pretty easy matchup. despite what people think, because we just eat through their hand really fast. Kind of similar to Link Joker. Like we just dumpster their hand.
Yeah, and it doesn't even
They
really
never
help.
build it back in.
No, they don't, because it doesn't help for the end. You need like what? You gotta have like three cards in hand to get his effect off.
I mean, we set up their end play, so
Yeah,
there's that.
yeah, we
But
do.
outside of the end play, like they really struggle into even into OG. Like they really struggle even into OG, let alone Glory. Glory is a card. I think he's very fantastic. I don't think he's broken. I don't think he's underwhelming. I think he's exactly where we need him to be. I was almost spot on the head correct about his effect, except I thought it was going to be 5k in Battledore. Uh, and I
Totally.
didn't know he was going to lock intercepts, but he is more or less exactly what I wanted for the clan. So that's perfect. Um, I
So
think the important thing to know is just like you just got to play to your outs. You got to know how do you win here, and what stops you from winning when you go to do that turn. Like, should you do a minimal commitment turn and just poke? Can you survive their turn if you just poke? Like, these are things you have to consider when playing Glory. Like he's not an I win button, but he definitely can get you there if you play smart.
yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. And so, since we're talking about Glory, let's talk about Glory. Um,
Mm.
what are your guys' thoughts on Glory?
Glory.
Yes, Glory
I
Maelstrom.
think that okay. I think that Glory Maelstrom is the um I think he's the card that we honestly needed to have. I think that I mean I know some people don't agree that Glory Maelstrom was a good card design, but I feel like Glory Maelstrom it's a perfectly fine card design, and he's everything that we really could have asked for. We didn't need another restander. We didn't need anything that gained a crit. We needed something that made the made our attacks throughout the turn that much stronger, and him placing a restriction on what your opponent can and cannot guard with, rather, or how much they need to guard with per attack, not only opens up different combos and setups for us in terms of what numbers we want to hit and where, but it gives us an ability to. I feel like he gives us an ability to end games. In my playtest games, I've taken somebody from from 3 to 6 damage, on a glory turn. Even first ride, depending on your pressure from turn two, you can put out a really nice glory turn. If you have to ride him first instead of getting the plus 10k. But Glory Maelstrom just adds, I'm not going to say a finishing element to the deck, even though it is a finishing element, but he adds something to the deck where we can comfortably put opponents 2-6 damage. And you can a lot of times, kind of like when Lambros first came out, it's kind of just like, well, you're in the kill zone now. Like, do I have more attacks than you have cards in hand? Yes. Or are the attacks that I'm going to be throwing at you, um, going to force you to have multiple 15k shields, or 20k shields, or perfect guard or die? Yes, and I think that that's what Glory has brought to Aquafor, is just that what we needed.
All right. Well, much for me, it's much of what you said, but I feel like overall, Bushy Road, when they gave us Glory Maelstrom, they gave us a card because they only give us, as of right now, they only give us support once a year. They gave us a card that's actually going to, in my opinion, stay relevant for that entirety of the year that we have to wait until we get support
Which is
again.
the most important thing, one of the most
Yes.
important things.
Yes. Because no matter what, people are going to be like, oh, well, Aquaforce, the clan, blah, 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 it's outdated. But when you plop that glory down on the board at the right time, when your opponent's not expecting it because they're like, oh, Aqua Force is irrelevant and they can't intercept. They can only guard with one card. They're just like, okay, well, I just got clapped up. See you guys later. Pick up my cards and go.
So I am going to counter that with you have to also look at the way things are trending and how the power creep is going right now with Bushiroad.
Mm-hmm.
The game is moving, at least standard, is moving really fast. Like, you see how fast, UB08 kind of pushed Bermuda out, and I know that technically that's the third set, but think about this for a second. We're seeing Tsukiyomi, we're going to see Murakami, we see Gansalot giving Blaster Blades drive checks and stuff. Like, the power creep is going fast. If it continues this fast, if Aquaforce doesn't get another set soon, Glory will be outdated. Like, it has some staying power, don't get me wrong, but like not when that stuff won't matter at some point.
I don't think Gansalot's going to be as big of a factor as you think. I think it's mostly horizontal power creep. I don't think it's very vertical.
I do.
Like, see, Gansalot, that's an entirely different thing for me. Like, I'm putting away my Aqua Force bias for Gansalot. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a cool card, but in most, like, the first thing that I heard spewed out of people's mouths, oh man, if I have 2 Blaster Blades in my front row, I get my crit. No, you don't.
You don't.
Can
you even definitively say that OTT is better than current, that Tsukiyomi is better than current OTT? No. I think it's just a lateral upgrade, Yeah. I don't think this set's going to feature very prominent power creep. I think it's just going to be more of the same level of sets since VEBO7. So like it's going to bring decks that weren't on that level onto that level, and decks that are already on that level are just going to get horizontal creep. Just more options to play. I don't think that Tsukiyomi is necessarily stronger than the current deck already. And you're also not thinking too. They have to possibly forego Deer, or they're just going to randomly hit a stack they don't know in the middle of their stack. Like these are things you have to factor in. I don't think that we're going to get creeped out of the meta. I'm pretty sure we're still going to be relevant, especially like even if Royals ends up being good, there's still an assload of Protect decks getting support soon. There's still a bunch that are good right now. I don't see it ever being in a scenario where it's the top dog with all this Protect running around, and Protect is our best matchup. So we are.
I do hope you're right, but something that I've been theorizing for a while there is, if by any chance Tsukiyomi has defensive capabilities and can hang in there, they just ride Pentagonal, hit their stack, and like just blow people out. And I think that is
like a turn 4, turn 5 turn, and I don't think they'll get there. I don't realistically see them getting there. Like, I definitely think it's going to be good, but like, will they actually hit their stack that fast? It doesn't seem like it. Like even with the draw 3, the draw 3 and then the filter top 5, like by the time they do that, they've gone through 15 cards in their deck, 18. This is on first ride. They might hit their stack on the second ride, but it's most likely going to be turn 5, unless they're just drawing a shit ton of cards before then too. But like most of the stuff that they're currently running won't stack on the bottom, so it's just more stacking in the top and then drawing.
Yeah, but still, like like you said, with Protect decks coming into the meta more, that's just gonna in turn make multi-attack decks, like true multi-attack decks like Pale Moon and us, a little bit more relevant.
Novas.
Oh yeah, Novas as well too. Sorry, I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder from them, but so I tend to forget about
Aquas and Novas are in a very healthy place right now. I think Pale Moon still needs a bit of help.
Yeah.
But I do think that if it high rolls, like it can beat decks. If it low rolls, it feels really underwhelming.
Well, like CFK says, it needs some milk. At least I think so.
So where's the Aquaforce GB8 in the premium deck?
I think that Blue Wings have a lot of potential.
Blue Wings do, I believe so. Like I was hoping for like them getting a grade 3, then just like Bushy Road swerved the shit out of us.
Even without a grade 3 though, they're like a Ripple's little cousin, you know? Like they're really aggressive. They generate their own advantage and stuff like that. Like I think you're gonna see a lot of really interesting builds come out in standard. You know, that won't run PGs. They'll run 12 crit for heals, and they're just gonna be aggro as fuck. They're gonna run limited grade 3s because they only want to ride grade 3 like once. And they're just gonna grade 2 game you super hard. I mean, like grade 2 game. They're really just gonna all in you grade 1 and 2, super hard, and hopefully by the time they ride 3, probably kill you.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of merit to it. Like even in proof court, I was talking to people, and there are some people who 100% agree that like you could just get the hands out of nowhere to a random blue wave deck or blue wing deck. Sorry, out of regional.
No, man. It's like in low. Like I agree because like I took Blue Wings out for a little test drive early this morning, and like in the premium room and in the standard room on CFA, and it's just like, oh, okay, I forgot this deck still does this, and yeah, it was definitely not fun for that other player. Like one player, as soon as they saw I was playing Blue Wings, and I got to turn 2 and I filled my board, he was like, all right, I quit. He left. When I played it in standard, by the time my turn 2 ended, and he was on grade 2 playing a forest deck. I was playing against Shadows. He was just like, well, I'm at 5. I don't know what to do. You drained all cards but one out of my hand. There's nothing much for me to do. And he rode Black Alfred. There's nothing he could do.
They're so aggressive, and Shadows can't even retire them. You either have to full board wipe or that's it. Like because of Maxios, I believe it is.
Yeah, because he gives.
Yeah, he gives board resist. Board resist to everything, not just blue wings. If you have 4 or more other blue wings, he gives board resist to everything. So your titles, your corals, your wheel assaults. Like it is gross.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
And like the deck is so aggressive. I like it, but if you're like me and can never check a blue wing on Basilia, it just feels bad, man.
No, I check them. I check them. I'm Sack Guy Senpai.
I check all triggers and my text. It feels real bad, my dude.
Oh, see, I don't know what that life feels like. I don't know. Sack Guy Senpai
Bro.
is strong.
You think that's bad? I can't check an Algos off of Nicolas.
Oh. One day when I was playing Ripples, I got 4 Algo searches off on my grade 1 turn. Or sorry, Nicolas searches off on my grade 1 turn, and then a bunch more later on in the game for a total of 7 in one game. Didn't hit a single Algos, my dude.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds rough.
I know that feels.
Sounds
And then
bad.
there's games where like I hit every Algos.
I mean, I can't even speak. That's just the statistics. I can't talk. I'm not gonna say that word anymore.
That's just that statistic.
My mama said. Anyway.
Yeah, like, but yeah, the blue wing high roll is nasty because like every trigger is an offensive trigger. So like you swing with your standard like all your blue wings first, and you know you have usually a Riptide, or sorry, a naval. My bad, is your grade 3 ride. So like you'll either have like a standing coral or like a coral to restand that's just gonna be 24/24, or you restand the Pharos because he's a restander you can stack crits on, and if you hit the heal, you just high roll and kill them. Like it's really nasty because they have the deck themed algo / title with the well, it's more like title because it's unrestricted restand. Like it could be whenever as long as you have the names, and then like you still have the wheels, you still have the corals. Like you could do so many neat things. And then you're on naval. Naval synergizes so well with the deck. You know, being able to restand corals, restand Pharoses, restand really big what's his name? The guy that's a 17k attacker or booster.
Oh yeah, we're having brain farts right now.
I remember most of their names, but like his name actually escapes me. I'm not sure why. Sorry guys. Macarios.
Oh, okay.
My bad. No, Maxios is the 17k attacker. Macarios is the resist guy. But okay, so you have the 17k Maxios, who's either 22 or 27 on Excel. Like, so that hits really, really thick numbers, which is really, really key. and running 12 crit, you're basically you're playing the deck at the absolute maximum aggressive like state that it can hit, and it's very common to just kill your opponent on grade 2 or to kill them on the very first grade 3 ride. And I mean, if they survive, you might be in trouble. But like a lot of times when I play the deck, even missing every Basilia check, like I find that I have such a large lead in damage that it's kind of like ripples. Not having a really big hand size is okay because if I can't one card guard it, I usually take it. They usually can't straight up kill me, so they'll start killing my rears. It literally feels like a mini ripples in standard. I feel like this is going to be a very very good budget option and a very solid rogue deck.
Oh yeah, because the highest rarity they have is a double rare, and that's one of their grade twos. So
It does even run PGs. The deck is literally like a $20 deck, a $20 to $30 deck. It's going to be as expensive as the Naval Gazers, the one of Hydro Hurricane, and the Pharoses. That's literally all the deck is.
mm,
Like this is probably going to be one of the most budget, affordable, possibly really good decks in the game.
yeah, but people won't see it that way because they're like, oh, they don't have a grade 3. People aren't going to give it a chance until it starts to put up results.
We just finally got not only a brand new subclan but a subclan in Aquaforce. Like most clans have already been on like their third wave of support and like they've had established subclans. Like it's gonna get support in the future. It's definitely gonna get more stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of room. So I think people just need to chill and just play it. It's a deck under $30 that will probably win you a lot of games. Like you can't go wrong.
No, you can't. I can see this deck getting a lot of locals play, but I'm thinking like nobody's gonna really try to take it to like a regional
I
or an
100% would take this
ARG.
to a regional. I 100% would take this
Okay,
to a regional.
bet, do it. Next regional that you have, go bring it.
But I mean, I want to play max rarity standard Aquas.
Oh well, I mean, I'm just saying. You said you would.
I would. I just want to play max rarity standard Aquas.
I don't know.
If I'm buying XVR Maelstroms or XVR Glories, you better believe I'm fucking playing that shit.
Yeah, but are you getting the SCR marker?
Probably not.
Yeah, but
I
that
don't
thing,
value markers in the same
as
realm
main
as like
deck.
the actual cards in the deck.
All right, thank you guys for listening so far to this point in the video. I do want to let you know that there is going to be a part 2, which will happen, and it will be coming out tomorrow. So just stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next time. Later.